Today we're opening up a stack of sources focused on, well, arguably the most urgent educational challenge right now.
Definitely. It's all about getting youth ready for a world that's just fundamentally changing with AI and digital tech everywhere.
Exactly. We're talking about this crucial need for what we're calling human fluency skills. Look, if you're listening because you're concerned, you want to see action, maybe find ways to partner these insights, we distilled them for you.
Yeah, and what the sources really lay bare is this mismatch, a structural problem. The economy is shifting like really fast towards jobs needing complex people skills, analytical thinking.
Stuff AI can't easily do.
Precisely. But then you look at the national data for students and those exact skills, they seem to be going down. It's this quiet crisis, you know. The skills we need the most are slipping away.
So the old foundation, the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, it's just not enough anymore, is it?
Not on its own. To build resilience now, in this century, we really need to anchor in the 4 C's. These are the sort of non-negotiables. They make up this human fluency.
Okay, the 4 C's. People have probably heard the terms. Communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity. But let's unpack them a bit. They're not just buzzwords.
Not at all. They're survival skills, really. Take critical thinking. It's more than just being smart. It's analyzing problems from different angles, looking hard at evidence, spotting, faulty logic.
And making solid judgments.
Yeah.
Especially with all the AI-generated stuff out there now. It's like our filter, right?
It's a great way to put it, our intellectual filter. And then there's communication.
Which I think gets underestimated sometimes. It's not just talking well.
Right. It's about getting your ideas across clearly, persuasively, whether you're speaking, writing, or even through body language. And that listening part, actively listening, huge, plus adapting your style.
That nonverbal piece. Yeah, we should definitely circle back to why that might be slipping.
We will. Then collaboration. This isn't just, group projects. It's about working effectively, respectfully, with diverse people, being flexible, willing to compromise for a common goal.
That ability to handle different viewpoints feels pretty essential right now.
It's fundamental. And the last one, creativity. This is about generating, evaluating, and improving ideas. Coming up with solutions that are genuinely new and actually work. It's the innovation engine.
So put them all together: communication, collaboration, critical thinking, creativity.
And that's human fluency. It's the toolkit, really, the cognitive and social toolkit for this new era.
Okay, so why is this so urgent? You said it's a mismatch happening now.
Exactly. This isn't some far-off future problem. Look at what employers are saying today.
Yeah. What does the data show?
Well, one study from Adobe found that 85% of college-educated professionals say creative thinking is critical for solving problems in their jobs right now.
Wow, 85%. That's not a small number.
Not at all. And then you look at, say, LinkedIn data. Creativity. It's the second most in-demand skill overall. Only cloud computing is higher. And for soft skills, it tops the list of what companies say they desperately need.
So as automation takes over the routine stuff,
the human stuff becomes premium. Work, needing that sophisticated insight, those interpersonal skills, analytical ability, that's where the growth is.
And that brings us right back to critical thinking, especially with generative AI becoming so common.
Absolutely. Critical thinking is crucial, not just for, figuring out if something online is real or a deepfake civic reasoning, but also for judging the output of AI itself.
Right. You need humans to check if the AI's answer is accurate, if it's biased, if it's even appropriate for the situation.
Exactly. And the sources are pretty clear on this. If we just rely on these tools without engaging critically, that could actually pose a risk to our own thinking abilities long term.
Okay, that definitely ramps up the urgency.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately leads us right into some pretty sobering data about where young people are right now with these skills.
Yeah, this is the tough part. We have to look at the national indicators. They show these skills might actually be eroding, not getting stronger.
So what are we seeing?
Well, start with the foundations. The NAEP long-term trend scores, we're saying. For 13-year-olds, average scores dropped 9 points in math and 4 points in reading just between 2020 and 2023.
9 points in math in just 3 years. That feels steep.
It is, and compared to a decade ago, that math score is down 14 points. That's the biggest drop they've ever recorded on that test.
Okay, so if basic reading and math are dropping like that, it's hard to imagine kids are simultaneously getting better at complex critical thinking.
That's the concern. And when you look at tests that measure reasoning more directly, like in history or civics, it's worrying. 40% of 8th graders are below the basic level in U.S. history on the NAEP.
40% below basic. And civics.
31% below basic in civics. And below basic means they haven't even got partial mastery of the core analytical tools they need to understand these subjects.
Wow. Okay, what about creativity? How do we even measure that nationally?
That's part of the problem. It seems to be defined mostly by neglect. The main proxy we had, the NAEP Arts Assessment, well, it showed scores were basically flat between 2008 and 2016.
And since then?
It hasn't been given since 2016. It's now officially listed as inactive.
Okay.
That sends a pretty clear signal about national priorities, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Not a priority. Okay, so critical thinking, creativity. What about collaboration? Is there data on social skills?
There is, and it ties into this deeply concerning trend around social connection. Nearly 4 out of 10 high school students, it was 37% back in 2021, said they didn't feel close to people at their school.
Almost 40%. That lack of connection, that loneliness.
Yeah.
It's not just sad, it's actually a health issue, isn't it? I remember reading something about that.
It absolutely is. The U.S. Surgeon General put out an advisory in 2023 specifically on loneliness and isolation. The stakes are incredibly high.
How high?
The advisory stated that lacking social connection increases the risk of premature death by 26%.
26%?
Yeah.
Just from feeling disconnected?
Yeah. The report compared that risk level to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day.
That is staggering. 15 cigarettes a day.
Wow, it really reframes the issue. And the Surgeon General's call to action was clear. We need to actively, quote, cultivate values of kindness, respect, service, and commitment to one another. And we need to, quote, expand conversations on social connection in schools, workplaces, and communities.
Okay, so the skills are vital. Employers need them. AI makes them more important. But the data shows kids might be struggling, and the health consequences of poor connection are huge.
Yeah.
What's driving this decline? Let's talk about this idea of time displacement.
Right. And the goal here isn't to blame technology, but to look realistically at how childhood has been, well, rewired. Where kids spend their time has shifted massively.
From face-to-face play and interaction to screens.
Pretty much. The sheer amount of time is key. Teens, we're talking 13 to 18-year-olds, now average 8 hours and 39 minutes per day just on entertainment screen media.
8 hours and 39 minutes a day. Just entertainment.
Yeah, and that number jumped 17% in just 2 years, from 2019 to 2021. And nearly half of teens in the U.S. say they're online almost constantly.
So if you're spending that much time looking at a screen?
You're just not spending that time doing other things. You're displacing the activities where you'd naturally practice these human skills, like navigating tricky conversations face-to-face, reading nonverbal cues, collaborating on something physical.
That's practice time, basically.
Exactly. And there's research showing this direct impact. There was a study with kids at an outdoor camp, completely screen-free, after just 5 days of more face-to-face time. Those kids got significantly better at reading facial emotions compared to a control group who just kept up their usual screen habits.
Just 5 days made a measurable difference.
A significant difference. It shows the skill is there, it's latent. We just need to create the conditions, the time for it to be practiced and developed.
Okay, that's actually really hopeful. It means this isn't some permanent loss. These skills are teachable.
Absolutely. That's the crucial pivot here. We have a blueprint. We have evidence showing that targeted interventions work. These aren't fixed personality traits.
So what does work? What's the evidence say?
Well, a huge amount of research points to the effectiveness of social and emotional learning programs, SEL programs. There was a major meta-analysis looking at over 200 school-based programs.
What did they find?
Really positive effects across the board, better social emotional skills, better attitudes about self and others, improved behavior, and importantly, better academic performance too.
Academics, how much better?
Get this. The analysis found that students in these SEL programs showed an 11 percentile point gain in academic achievement compared to students who weren't in them.
11 percentile points. Just from focusing on these human skills, that's a pretty amazing return.
It really is. But, not all programs are created equal. Some approaches work much better than others.
Okay, so what makes an SEL program effective?
Research points to 4 key features, often called the SAFE-E method. It's an acronym. Effective programs tend to be sequenced.
Meaning?
Meaning they use a connected step-by-step approach. Skills build on each other logically over time.
Okay, assay.
Active. They use active forms of learning. Think coaching, role-playing, actual practice, not just listening to lectures.
Makes sense.
Focused. They dedicate sufficient protected time specifically to developing these skills. It can't just be an afterthought.
Right. And E.
Explicit. They have very clear and specific learning goals for each skill. Kids know what they're supposed to be learning and why. Programs with these safe features consistently show better results.
Sequenced, active, focused, explicit, safe.
That's safe.
Okay.
And how does that translate into teaching methods? Like, what does that look like in a classroom or program?
Well, one powerful approach is project-based learning, PBL. The research shows it has a really significant positive effect on developing all four C's together because kids have to collaborate, think critically, communicate ideas, and be creative to complete the project.
So it creates that natural practice environment. Exactly. And beyond PBL, things like active listening, conflict resolution, these skills often need to be explicitly taught, modeled by adults, practiced by kids, with good feedback along the way.
And what about parents? Does involving families make a difference?
Oh, massively. When the skills and the values are talked about and reinforced at home, the impact is just magnified. That homeschool connection is critical for making the skills stick.
Okay, so let's pull this together. We've got this urgent need for human fluency, especially with AI rising. We've seen some concerning data about skills possibly declining, but, and this is a big but, we also have clear evidence about what works. We have blueprint.
That's the core message, really. The urgency is real, the challenge is significant, but it's not hopeless. We know how to teach these skills effectively. We just need to prioritize it.
We need to invest in solutions that actually use that evidence, that safe blueprint.
Precisely. We need scalable, evidence-based programs that deliberately teach and give kids practice in these competencies. They need to fill that gap that maybe traditional school or our digital lives aren't filling right now. The time really is now.
And that evidence-based approach is exactly what's needed to scale solutions.